Three, two, one. Hey guys, it's the fidget. No, I kid. I'm going to be here all week anyway, so we might as well make this for entertainment purposes, right? It's a really terrible day. I'm having trouble with my earphones, had trouble with jewelry, had another makeup misfunction, a wardrobe misfunction. At this point, I want to fire six people, but it's just me. So, no one through there. Didn't see again anything in current events that was really worth discussing at all. The Fanny thing is just waiting for this judge to finish flipping, I guess. Um, I saw that very little on the Israelis this morning. I'd heard talk of a peace talk again if they could make sure that Hamas would not rule the region. Well, of course, they can't do that. You see, the Muslims that were living in the Gaza Strip, those Muslims went to work in Jerusalem. They got free water, free electricity. Everything was given to them by the Israeli authorities. These guys wouldn't even have utilities had it not been for all these years that the Israelis have provided it for them. When the Israelis were sent there, by the way, that was desert and rock. One and the same, maybe. That area flourishes as if it's always done so, everywhere. And they've even said there's a water, some kind of a water thing that they use, but they offered it to. I'm not sure now. It might have been to the Palestinians, but then I didn't hear anything else about it. So if it makes water and it's free, the U.S. ain't gonna go for that shit. Mm-mm. The word free, they got a problem with that. The Rothschilds, and don't Soros. Good grief. Apparently, excuse me again with my allergies. It's just raining cats and cats. We don't have dogs, cats and cats up there. So and on top of that, I couldn't sleep very well. My husband didn't sleep very well either. I did promise him some biscuits and gravy. So when I get done with this, I got to dash off and try to do that. My back is better today. Not that anybody wanted to hear all that crap. So again, politics for politics. It's like pirate. You can't get away from it. Um, what was the other thing? There was something I want to talk to her about besides the fact that it's social Woodstock and we can all get out here and open our windows and say we're tired and we're not taking it anymore. Again, though, I can't figure out how people get out and protest. I had never had any time, even as a child, to do that. It was, you just had no time. I mean, if I wasn't doubling up on school projects and things like that, I was working. I was working at 9 years old. So, and it's the year I was actually adopted, finally. I think we were with him for a couple of years as a foster kid. So, and my microphone just keeps giving me a shadow. Actually, at my age, shadows are probably good. Again, I hate to bother you guys. And I hate saying this every day. My algorithms have gone up. That I don't mind saying. And I want to thank all of you out there for the hand up. I still need several hundred more to get to 1,000. And then I can take it further. Again, I keep hoping that people will jump in here and say, hey, how about we talk about this? How about, do you remember anything? Anything. Again, I know it's wet, it's rainy, it's cold. Probably everybody's at school. And I haven't been dropping them into Facebook. I need to do that. I haven't done it yet. Those of you who, I keep explaining like you're going to see it and you're going to know what I was explaining. I'll put it on Facebook. Just like, share. Tickle the little bell means you subscribe. You get a little ding, a notification that says I'm on. So you can join the live chat if you'd like or not. It's 20 seconds to take it off. It's free. And the free is always the big thing by now for me. I've been a member of YouTube. I mean, my mind just went, phew. I think it was 2006, but not positive. Um, Facebook, I've been with over a decade. I do not do Snapchat, WhatsApp, none of those. I have enough trouble with Facebook, but I will try to drop it and see if anybody bites. Not me, I hope. So I said, okay, we've got all kinds of stuff going on. Of course, I didn't even try to get in to see what was going on with Hunter Biden. I understand it's a trial now. I'm not sure. I really not. I just it's so you can't follow it. It's nuts. You can't make this stuff up. If I could, I'd be up here all the time. Mm. Well, so I switched it to Cat Williams. Love that man. I mean, he's funny before he opens his mouth. Funny man. I noticed. We started watching the station Fox back when we were in San Antonio. It was their first studio. That's where they kicked off at was San Antonio, and it was like PBS. You didn't pay for it. Of course, cable back them days was $25. Who knew if you could rent the remote, it'd go up. Creative billing, boy. Is it a recession? Okay, let's make sure we charge them that extra $10 a month because they might be able to see a sports program on their local news or something. No, they do that. We had automatic payment and direct TV as well. You had to have a 2-year contract. My son, bless him, was helping out. So he put us down for that 2-year contract. So they made $3,000 in a couple of years. Got off of that, went to cable. This will work, cable, Wi-Fi. Yeah. It started out at $98. By the time I turned them off, that was at $268. Auto payment. Now they did not send you a bill because you're supposed to go paperless, so they charge you $2 a month. But they also didn't mention that their rates would go up every other week. It seemed like. And when I would call and say, "Look, we're on a fixed income," and you really should, notify your viewers that you're raising the price because, like me, it's under auto payment. So, well, you can print it out and you'll know what it's for. People have to, things, cost of living goes up. Mm. This is why my husband don't take me in public because I'd have slapped the absolute stupid off that woman's face. I mean, these people act like you're not paying them. They don't act like they're not ripping you to pieces and they know it. Kid sniffing the other side until I pick this up. Go, go, go. Go. Go on. Good boy. Beautiful cat. And they've been with me pretty much long enough to know, oh, shoot. She's got that water again, sugar. I got to get out. They really pushed that point. So poor Robert is stuck at home today. We still can't do the outdoor work because it's pissing rain. And I do mean it's really, really raining. I get so this way because I always, no matter what, I don't fail to feed those cats. Because it seems like everybody is so tied up into everything else that they can't use any sympathy, compassion, nothing. Good Samaritan. No, they'll throw rocks in them. They'll get them wet with water in December. So, I keep praying mine will stay in the yard, but they stay in the backwoods. We have woods on 2 sides. But Robert made sure he put one out of the new hot houses so that they could get in. And this morning was a good example of that. I mean, it was raining cats and cats. Amazing. And I thought, well, they're probably not in there now because usually they're at the back door. They know when the feeding times are, and they're at the back door on the steps, on the table, in front of the. Several times I've had them run in the house, and then I hear yelling. A cat yelling, and I'm thinking, well, where are you? Where are you? And I'll open the door and it shoots out. This is how Gus ended up walking in. I couldn't catch him. He got to Robert, and it was Alley Oxen free time, so That's our gray ghost. He's been neutered. At this point, I think I actually think they outnumber the women, so they're probably not happy with the women. I did get some other kicks out of what's going on. I have no idea why they're trying to go for Ashton Kutcher and Mia Kunis, Armila, I think. In any event, his latest wife. Understand the Demi Moore thing didn't go well. Couldn't tell you. I didn't think it would, with him being like a year older than her oldest daughter. Uh, and I don't feel sorry for him. I felt for her. Of course, he went for a woman 25 years younger. Of course, that was just, live with them. Don't marry them. She had all the money in the world. Still does. She had a prenup, but, it still hurts. So I didn't like seeing that. And I don't know what the heck is going on with him. Something about he was supposed to go on a date with some young lady who was a model. He drove to her house. He knocked on the door. He looked through the window. He said he looked like red wine had been spilled all along. Then he went out to his car, never went in. He went out to his car, and for 2 hours he made phone calls. Now, I don't know about y'all, it doesn't pass the smell test, and I like Ashton Kutcher. I think what happened was he went up to the door. The door was open. He went in calling her name and found her because he couldn't have seen her body from where the windows were in the front of the house. This young lady was stabbed 25 times. 25 times. I think she was 24, 23. She's in her 20s. He didn't say nothing. He did what they told him to at Scientology. And what Danny Masterson said, instead of reporting it immediately to the police, he didn't know she was dead. Maybe he did. Maybe he went in far enough to find out. I doubt it. But he went in the house. I can't get around that point. I believe he did go in. In any event, then it was to leave. Don't call anybody else. 2 hours later, he leaves. And nowhere in that time does he call anybody for this young lady. Ambulance, morgue. So now they're trying to come after him, saying he did know that this young lady was dead, that he had gone in the house. And that instead of, again, calling the authorities and getting her some help or not, which it was probably too late, but that doesn't matter. You've just found a woman brutally murdered in her home, and you sit outside for 2 hours and make phone calls? You wouldn't have sat out there 2 hours and made phone calls. You're Ashton Kutcher. You wouldn't have waited 2 seconds. You would have been stamping your foot. You might have counted to 10, and you got back in your car and left, boy. So I don't buy that you sat there for 2 hours. I think his excuse was he was waiting for her. Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't even know. I don't think he even mentioned that. I think what he said was that she wasn't home. I believe is what he said. My eyes killing me with this makeup. I'm going to start doing it. That made me angry. So a young woman had been stabbed over 25 times, and she didn't get help yet. Finally, I don't know who found her or when. They did get the person that did it, and that's good for the area. However, they didn't get him after her death. After two more died, they got him. If Fisher had come forward and said, I think she's dead, can you please send an officer? That would have been it for him. No other questions, nothing, other than you think he went in there, here's my DNA to exclude me. But because he didn't, this lady died a vicious death, and so did two other girls. And this is what they're claiming is a problem. Had he reported it, it's not a given, but they think that the other girls might not have died. I can't say that, but it wasn't right. And again, I like the young man. I like Danny Masterson too. And again, on that, I don't know if he's guilty or innocent, even though they've declared him guilty. I'm trying to figure out what they based this on, what evidence they based it on. To me, it was all hearsay. He said, she said, he said, she said. I'm not saying he didn't, but it had been 25 years. Now, these people, these young ladies were, I think, all in Scientology as well as Masterson. But I didn't get to see any. I think they had a closed trial. In any event, they had taken him to court once, and I think he had been found innocent. I'd have to look again because I was shocked when it happened. I'm sorry, I got stuff popping up on my screen besides my live chat. There we go. So, I don't know how a decision could have been reached. And I don't believe there was a jury, but a judge. And I don't know how the judge came to his decision without a shadow of a doubt. It was 25 years ago. Even if the women had saved the DNA or had reported rape at the time and they had saved the DNA, there would have been some evidence. Now, that would have been, again, consent without consent. But again, hearsay. Um, but 30 years is a very harsh sentence because two of the girls of the three were believed to have been raped by him. And again, I don't understand it. I really don't. It's more than possible, of course, that he did. Why would the women have waited 25 years to report it? They say Scientology. Well, it wouldn't have taken me 25 years since Scientology. I'm done with you. Of course, I'm sorry, I don't join cults, but in any event, they managed to get their church status so they could have tax free. Oh, I don't know, probably 10 years back now. I mean, it made headlines when it happened. In any event, with Ashton Kutcher, he's not out of the frying pan, and I hope they don't throw him in the fire. I don't know if I think that Masterson has put out an appeal, and again, I can't until I see evidence, and I don't see any evidence. I mean, if they had a videotape of the rape somewhere in a security room, of this kind of stuff, had I been the judge, there would have had to be proof. He said and she said is hearsay. I could say you had horns last night. That doesn't mean it's true. Doesn't mean it's not true. So I liked him. I hope to God that he did not do what he was accused of, and I hope if he did, they secured that beyond the shadow of a doubt. Because otherwise, it was a very large injustice. And again, I don't know how they could, you know, make a decision 25 years later. And this isn't the only one. Bill Cosby also was hit, and it was, I think, over 25 years. And he did do time. And they were thinking about putting him back for some reason. Heck, if I know what it is. But it, they were thinking about it. He's 92 or 93 now. And again, I don't know where the proof would have been. I don't know what their lawyers were doing. Because this should have, everybody's still wondering what's going on. The other thing I'm extremely frightened about is Princess Catherine. Now, I looked for her after Thanksgiving. I didn't see any, and I follow them. I'm on their page. I subscribe. And I love Diana. Princess Diana, Lady Diana. I love that child as if she was my own. And uh, I cried for 4 days watching the boys and things like that. It turns out her brother is withholding some of the funds from the estate that she was also owner on. I'm not sure how that's going to come out. Seems to me like Harry and Meghan, they make 7 million and then they don't have it. They want to make some more off of something else. Mr. Spencer was Lady Di's brother, and he's not getting any younger either. She died in 96, so it's been a long time. Not to me, maybe to those others. But I was the original, I believe, in the fairy tale princess. Kind of figured she was. Even though she was a lady, she was very young, very inexperienced, very naive girl. Um, she wouldn't have had any idea that her two sons would be able to marry without being subjected to examinations to make sure she was a virgin and stuff like that they did to Diana. Um, it broke my heart. And she had just said before that she would probably die in a car accident soon because Charles wanted to remarry. And it was soon after that she died. I also didn't understand. They said, oh, they had to cut her out of the car. I've seen the car. I've seen where she was sitting. One thing, it did take near the damage that Dodie's side did. And it took them 2 hours to take her to a hospital less than 5 minutes away. 2 hours. I found that ironic. I saw Marilyn Monroe's, and I had never before seen her autopsy photo. Now, I knew she was messing with both the Kennedys, which was already a problem. Peter Lawford was part of the family. I don't know if people remember him as an actor, but he's a very good actor. She came out and said something along the lines of, I've kept a diary and I'm going to turn it to the press. In a day or two, she was dead of an overdose. But I saw this photo and I said, You could see somebody had held her entire face was scratched up everywhere, you know, from her nose down. Somebody had stuffed those pills down her throat and then held her mouth and held her nose so she couldn't breathe, no matter how much she struggled until she swallowed them. And she would have done that when they finally let her get a breath. And like that, when I saw those pictures, and she was murdered. There's no doubt in my mind. Was it by Robert Kennedy and Peter Lawford? Were they there that night? Yes, they were. The ambulance drivers came forward to say that they had dropped Marilyn Monroe at the hospital and she was still alive. However, they hear the next morning she's been found dead in her bedroom. And they investigated that. See how did they let her out of the hospital? They never had her as being in the hospital. It disappeared. It's just like Ed Kennedy at Chappaquiddick with the young girl who was an intern, and he hits a little river, and the car is like this, and it's filled up like here, but the back seat now and the back end was clear. She's still strapped in a seatbelt. She's drowned because she's in that little part down there. But he said he tried to get her out. He could have stood in there and worked it. Now, yeah, it would have been extremely hard to open that door. I understand all that, but I don't know either why it would have taken them so long. Like he's another one that took so long to get help to that girl. Of course, it's too late. So on that distressing note, Catherine again has been gone. Princess Catherine has been gone since before Christmas. At first, they tried to say she had severe abdominal surgery. Well, honey, it don't take 4 months to come back from that. Not now. Not today, sister. She's not been seen. This woman had 3 children and was outside on the front steps to take pictures on day 3. The same as I was. Day 3, they kicked you out. Can I have a bottle? I mean, but I'm really scared for Catherine. So I am going to ask for prayers for her. They say that she is in a medically induced coma. I know something about that. I lost 2 friends that I think of most days. One was her 21st birthday when her husband and her had an accident. Wasn't their fault. Didn't matter. She didn't have a bruise on her. But the whiplash effect sent her brain forward, back, and started swelling. She passed away from that. And it was one of the most hardest things I've been through. I was still fairly young. And she was manager and I was general manager. We worked together. And she was coming to work on her birthday, even though she had flown in the night before and stopped to see me. We were very close. And in age as well. And I said, please don't come to work till we've got this. I'll have Alberetta come in. And no, I'm on the roster. I'll be there. And I said, oh, please don't. And finally she said she would go ahead and have her birthday. And I didn't worry. And then the phone rang and I kind of froze. It was if somebody was already in my head saying she's going to die. I picked it up. And then I couldn't speak because that's exactly what it was. It was her husband who was calling to tell me, and she was very popular at the hotel. I had a bar, I had a restaurant. Well, I loved her. She was great, but she never woke again. She did not die. On her birthday, she might as well have died. That's when she went, the brainwaves went dead. But they kept her on for another 6 weeks. And her mother and her sister were both emergency RN nurses, so they knew what they were facing the minute they went in. And you, they finally pulled the plugs. And oh my God, it hurt so bad. I couldn't breathe. Um, the other general manager, he was leading me outside to breathe. I just couldn't breathe. We were all in the room when they pulled it. And I saw him. I saw her answer, and I just couldn't catch my breath. And she was just, might as well have been 20 because, she left us really on her 21st birthday. So I know something about things like that. I know a little bit more medical knowledge maybe than uh, the normal layman because I taught it. I did all that. In any event, when I saw those autopsy photos and all that red breath scraping, almost scraped her skin off, that there was no way she took that shit on her own. Somebody killed her. Now they say Robert Kennedy and Peter Loeffler were at her house that night, according to the housemaid's testimony, that she was depressed. Yeah, yeah. So there's that. I didn't see that. That was sad. Now William is out. The kids aren't. Harry and what's her name are back, stirring up more crap. They got big spoons, trust me. But Harry doesn't look. I mean, not Harry, but William does not look like a man who is afraid for his life. He just doesn't. He doesn't look like he's afraid of anything. In any event, he looks like I don't know where the kids are. It's not time for them to be out of school yet. So I don't know where they are. I heard that they all moved to Sandringham Palace to give her time to heal. Well, now I hope to God that's the case. But it's been 4 months, and people don't take 4 months. And they certainly don't get put into a medical coma, which was a week later. They came out with that one. So I don't know what's going on. No one does. This one, they have kept tight. I give them credit. They kept tight on this one. They didn't want nobody to know where Kat is. Kat's well loved. She's a beautiful woman. She is a handsome dresser. She is a friend, almost like Lady Diana was. And I think this time God help the monarchy if Catherine doesn't make it. God help us all. We got all that going on. I saw Dubai. Was it Dubai or Mecca? I think it's Dubai. And then it was dumping rain out again. And people were floating. The camels were floating. I'm like, what next? I mean, these people are getting just as shit like that. Just by the time I said that, they had a blizzard. A blizzard. This is the desert. Yes, it gets cold at night in a desert. You'll find that there's a big difference in the temperatures. But you dig off Burrell into that heat, get good tent and a blanket, and you're okay. But not so much when it's underwater. You gotta wonder what the freak the camels are thinking. Hey, all right, can you swim? So I don't know what that's all about. I had already known about the eastern wall that had been bricked up, and when the city fell from the Templars lost, and they bricked it up. This entrance, they bricked it up, and they put a cemetery in front of it. And that's the gate that the Savior, that Yeshua, is supposed to go through when he returns to Earth. They also believed that since he cannot come into the temple through the graves because it's unclean, so they buried a bunch of people out there. Jeez, you can't make this stuff. And they've been finding things like the Pool of Shalom and so forth. And so the Bible's pretty accurate on a lot of stuff. And if he does come through the eastern gate, and they did get rid of all that, he's always where he had to get to the temple, and yet nobody's talking about that. I do know that the Israelis had built the vessels, the vestments that people would wear, and they are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And they're making them like they did during the time of the first and second temples. What scares me is this war, and somebody might just get stupid and blow up the dome or try to. I don't know. The Hagia Sophia is also Muslim. They have the big plaques of Muslim over whatever has been there before. That's nice. I think they still actually let the Coptics share it. I'm not sure because this is three major religions of the world: your Catholic, Christian, and your Jew. And I'm still wondering how they figure out how they're all Jews, but that's another day. It's just anybody out there a Levite? Okay, you go to the left. Any Benjamins? Most people don't even know what the other tribes are, even if they did know they were missing. And they've been missing a long time, a couple thousand years. So I don't know what to think about that. And as I touched briefly on Catherine, I do ask that you pray for this young lady. She's a great mother, but she's taken a lot of knocks. And I'm praying that she is indeed recovering, that we're not going to lose her because I don't think we'll ever know the truth if this happens. Something just doesn't pass the smell test. It just doesn't. That dog don't hunt. I don't know how much longer they're going to hide this, but I don't care at this point. I want to know what's wrong with Catherine. Um, Even Diana couldn't disappear. Diana tried to disappear. She couldn't. Neither can Kate. So what have they done? Nobody saw her go in and out of the hospital. Nobody saw her go in and out of the areas, any of the other palaces. Nothing. And Sandringham has always been one of the places they go to some kind of a break because of the security measures there. If they don't want you on that property, you're not getting there. And it's so big and so vast that you can get the highest powered lens you want. You're not going to be saying anything at Sandringham Castle. So that also raised the hackles on my neck. The fact that William is the only one being seen, not even the children. And William canceled, I should say Prince William canceled uh, the funeral for his great uncle, it was. In any event, he adored him and he called off at literally the last minute. Uh, Not, I put someone else in there. I think it might have been Anne, I'm not sure. So there's that. Again, kind of depressing. Actually, for me, it's very depressing. I'm very afraid for her. Uh, and I can't figure out why. And that bothers me because I'm one of those people that can see auras if I really look. I try to turn that off a lot. You end up judging people if you can see the aura. If the aura is mainly shot with black and red, you don't want to be around them. And so one of the things I remember when I was younger, they were testing me at the Chicago Scientific Institute. I don't see that. Just was better if I couldn't see those things. I learned to put a shield up. And lately it's coming on unbidden. Something I'll say or hear, and I look and I can see. Even it doesn't matter if you're on TV. It doesn't matter. I can see your aura if I mean to, or if something shocks me. And in this particular case, it shocked me. And I was watching it, and it was William. Besides the facial expressions alone, um, he just he's not right. Something's wrong. I hope somebody sees this to mark my words because something's incredibly wrong, and I don't know how to say it any other way, but I believe William is up in past his head in it. So, I mean, because this is a complete lockdown. They couldn't even keep Diana locked down. They certainly couldn't have kept. Catherine would never have gone for a lockdown. She would never have been one to say, take the kids out of school. Or at school. And no one has seen her since well before Christmas. So you've got December, January, February, we're into March. It's already 3 months. They're not going to put her in a medically induced coma for that long either because there's a lot of explanations as to why, but you can't do that either. Her body's, she was such a little thing as well, and I have been there, but she carried herself with grace, humility. She didn't act like she was better than someone else. She was just a joy, just like Diana, her mother-in-law was. The ring that she wears. The wedding ring was her deceased mother-in-law, Lady Diana's. and she was groomed by Queen Elizabeth. And I don't think you could get Queen Elizabeth II. You couldn't get a better education as to how to be royalty, except somebody like her teaching you. She worked as queen for what, 75 years? That she had promised her father that duty would come first. You know, when he was still alive, she married. She had already had Charles, but she got the news in Africa that he had passed. The family members are required to carry a suit or dress, something sufficient to wear to a funeral in black everywhere they go. They're to keep one ready at all times, and that was horrible as well for Lady Diana's. And I gave the Queen some respect because at that point I really was mad at Queen Elizabeth II. And she went out to look at the flowers, and she came back out when Diana's catalog was going by, and she curtsied to her. And I cried for 3 days because I don't believe that Queen Elizabeth would bend the knee before anyone but her father. But she did to Diana. And we respected her a hell of a lot more after she did that. She may have saved the monarchy. Uh, the boys, certainly, we all wanted to just hold them. We didn't want, none of us would agree, that I spoke with at the time, that those boys should have been following their mother's catalog. I just, 13, 15. But then again, I've been to funerals at young ages, but they weren't my mother. I know who the heck she was. I did later. That's my little story. It's a story. So there we go with that. Basically, all the political news that they could throw out there today. I noticed Fox has gotten rid of every reporter that they had. That was what I was talking about in the beginning. Was Fox had started out as a free channel and worked its way. They were the first ones to go satellite. I think they were the first ones that George Soros took over because now there's nothing but political stuff. I was really sorry to see that. Peter Ducey, Steve Ducey, he started out the channel as the weatherman. He's been on the couch as a reporter for some years. But we watched Peter Ducey grow up, and he's a White House reporter. And that boy is a hardworking boy. He's an intelligent boy. That president and that press secretary hate that man. Good on Pete. So I tried everything today. I tried to see was going to Israel. All I got was they're trying to do these peace talks. Meanwhile, Lebanon is now throwing missiles. Houthis are sinking ships in the Red Sea, but let's by all means make sure that Israel has a ceasefire. And we were distinctly told not to go to war by Congress, and we went. So, what are they for? Now, the new contract they want you to sign when you and stay, and this is like a contract with the devil. I kid you not. They just read a little bit out of it. I was like, you can break my arm and formal. I ain't signing it. I know death is only the beginning. You're not getting me to sign that crap. Oh, hell no. And it's not just us. It's England. It's everywhere. The WHO organization, the one that invented the Spanish. I'm sorry, the Chinese influenza or Chinese plague. This has been a name for it. Sorry, these things slip and I didn't get it behind the thing, so I tried to just plug on. Let's see what else. That's about it. I didn't have a lot to do today except for the usual. I'll take time doing that because I was off my back pretty much all day yesterday. I did get some chocolate cupcakes made with some milk chocolate icing and sprinkles. Those are good. So I did get somewhat productive. I just didn't do as much as I normally do. I can't seem to get one of my sides to work or the other. It's I mean, there's somebody up there going, let's make her hurt over here today. How about up here on the shoulder? That's what it feels like. They're having a war conflict up here going, no, I said first. No, I said. So I'm like, okay, this can't go on anymore. I have got to do something about this. So I did make an appointment yesterday to see my doctor on the 19th at I think 2:30 at the VA, of course. And other than that, things have been swimmingly going by, and just time is running. My tree, I'll have to post that. My tree was all white yesterday. It finished budding, and it comes out white before it goes to leaves. And in the winter, well, fall, it turns yellow or orange. Beautiful tree. So that was fun. I like that. And I mentioned he might start working on the RV. There were things he's got to measure and so forth, and we got to put in there yet, a little at a time. But the weather is just abysmal here. I hope it's not this way everywhere, but the weather has been nuts. I don't know if any of you have heard the sounds that people are recording, that there's no viable source for. Some of them sound so loud that they're ripping the sky apart. Some of them sounds like the huge ram horns that I think they're called sugarcane. In any event, there's no reliable source to find, and this is happening all over the world. I don't know what it is. I swear to God, I saw one some time ago, about 3 months ago, about the mall, not the recent mall in Miami. This is an old mall, but fairly looking. It looked really good to me. But it looked like an angel in all white, wings included, came down, landed on one knee and one hand like that. And then, as people were running to it, there was people there, and they were running. They said flat out it was an angel. And I've seen this the footage. I don't know what the heck else you call it. I had asked that question the other day, which was the New Testament doesn't seem to have uh, too many messengers of God. I put it that way. And I still have a problem, They say, oh, if you find one self righteous person or one righteous person, you won't kill that city. Well, the two of them couldn't freaking talk. What kind of God needs worship like that? What kind of God kills babies? Well, I've seen it every day on TV. And again, this is why I don't do organized religion. It's just another Ponzi scheme. They're not out there helping nobody. Nobody. I don't care what denomination, and I believe there's 263. No. Jehovah's Witness, do they have a soup line? Do they have someplace to sleep? No. Do the Christians? Yeah, no. How about the Catholics? Yeah, yeah, no. None. I reached out to help. I believe that the Jewish organizations help their people. If they come to them that had us passed, they will get help, immediate help from the other members of the congregation. That's not true of Western civilization's religion. I call it organized religion. I don't, I'm not trying to be mean. I hear about this LGBTQ. I'm not sure if I got the letters right. It's not any of my business. you know, I don't go around, take my shirt off, and say, "Hi, I'm a girl." Uh, what's the problem here? That this is there something about being a transgender or whatever? Is there something about that they have to tell people? That they have to use the washrooms that a little girl might come into? I mean, this is not rocket science. You can make a different bathroom for transgender people, but you can't let an 11-year-old child who's a girl walk into a bathroom that a dude is using as a urinal. It's just not done. And if the parents and they have say something, then they get arrested. They're shut up. They've got gag orders. It's just again. I mentioned that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Every time I see something like this, like again the blizzard in Dubai, I'm checking the boxes. I'm going, yep, volcanoes, yep, earthquakes, yep, floods, yep, tsunamis, yep. I was hoping to skip one of the boxes. See if that one stayed okay. There's 3 days of darkness coming, and you have to look that up. It's in April. But apparently, there's a warning in the Bible, and I like the Bible code for some information. If you don't have it, grab it. So they're saying don't go outside your home on those 3 days of darkness. Well, now it's not going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday when everybody's off. I'm sure it's going to be in the middle of the week and everybody's on. So I don't know how that's going to be taken or what it means, but that's what they said. Again, I don't see the prophets down here. I'd ask for ID probably. But I see my time is getting short. I wasn't going to put in such a long one today. But it turned out I've got actually something to talk about if it crosses my head. You know, you got camels swimming in Dubai. You've got Mecca being pounded to dirt with hail. I mean, these hailstones were taken out of the windows. I used to chase a long time ago. It happened once to the car. And Heidi, my best friend, was just screaming to the top of her head. I told her to shut up or I'd throw her out of the car. You can't think when somebody's just screaming intermittently, just screaming, and it doesn't do any good. You know, I could see well enough that I got us to safety. But I mean, at that point, and they didn't have, we'll come fix your windshield kind of thing. So that was fun. But I pretty much stopped chasing. I had too many things to do. But if I was still chasing, if I was still young enough to chase, I'd head that way. Just like, what is causing this? They're saying that it's the jet stream, it's this, it's that. Come on. Something's going on here. They've been throwing those chemtrails at us for decades. They've made the planet warmer and wetter. Why? I, for one, am one of those believers that the alien races never left. They're underground mainly and they're in the ocean, but they never left. Now, I don't know why the government decided we couldn't know that for 100 odd years. Might as well be. And now we can, and nobody's paying attention. Which I found absolutely hysterical. Oh, they'll have a panic, they'll have a panic. And so they hold the congressional hearing on, nobody cared. What you gonna do? You gotta go to work, take kids to school until it hits, you know. Well, hoping you guys don't know what you're talking about. These were defense prime ministers. They knew as sure as shit what they were talking about. It ain't gonna be a fun day. So I'm trying to think and remember to stock up on that days, those 3 days, and try not to go outdoors until I can investigate that further. Again, it's like, share, subscribe. It takes 20 minutes to take it off. If you don't like it, it takes a second to hit the like button. I keep getting closer. I mean, a little bit. It's annoying me that little bit. So come on here, like, subscribe, talk to me. I'm always on live chat between 8 and, well, I should say from 10 to 12. Because when my husband's at home, he wants to run around and do stuff. So, and I'm at the bar. So instead of a studio, I kind of have the ground floor to myself for that amount of time. But I do know he's wanting to get stuff done, so I'm going to have to go. I will try to find time to drop this. I hope I don't get any more negative content, but if I do get negative answers, it's free speech. Um, just come see me either way. Hit the like. If you do nothing else, hit the like. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you guys. And I'm so excited still because I know that this is something we need to do. This social Woodstock. I think if it stays around long enough, that maybe, like I Love Lucy reruns, that our great grandchildren will be going, that's grandma. So it's important in more ways than one. It's important to show we were here. It's important to show what our values, what our views were. And it's important because they can see people getting together with love and not hate, with peace and not war. These kids are growing up, and there's been a war going on since before they were born. So I call on you hippies out there, show up, hit a like. Let's show them that sometimes it's groovy to be a hippie. And on that note, I gotta go. I miss you guys when I do. So, toodles.